What is a food you wouldn't put Old Bay on? It's mostly used for crab legs and seafood, and people have ended up using it for a lot of other things. I knew someone who put it on their cereal, but what would I not put it on? I feel like mint ice cream specifically would not go well. What's happening, Lazy Bunch fans? Dan here, and today we are doing another Ask Lazy Bunch question and answer video! Today's video will be just as obnoxious and over the top as the rest of my content. Before we start, I'm gonna show you guys the meme of the month. Here it is, created by Nate Spidey18 in all of its glory. Laugh, react, comment, tell me what you all think of it. I just want to thank you all so much for the questions that you've asked me. There was a lot more this month than any other month, so we're gonna fly through these as best as we can and not creating an hour-long video here. But more importantly, I want to thank you all so much for the subs, for the likes, for the support that you've shown us. During this past month, we went over 6,000 subs. That is insane, and as of right now, we're at 6,200. So thank you so much for the support. And there's so much more on the horizon for us. So let's just dive right into these questions. Slap that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's start with the very first one from Aquifer Unknown. Dan, what is your favorite console? This is kind of a two-part question because my favorite console doesn't necessarily have my favorite games and vice versa. My favorite console has to be the Nintendo Wii. I know that's a very basic answer, but like overall, like I love the Xbox 360, but the 360 itself had a lot of problems. So I can't say that's my favorite console, but for me, the Nintendo Wii is my favorite console. I just absolutely love the games and I had so many great experiences with Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Play. Super Smash Bros. Brawl played a huge part in inspiring me into writing when I was growing up. So yeah, the Nintendo Wii's gonna take the W on this one. But like I said, it didn't have my favorite games, but it's probably my favorite console. Next, we got a bunch from Frosty and Icy, who is gonna be popping up a lot in this video. Ask Lazy Bunch 6 is over, so you know what that means. Opinions on The Rookie, the show that you named for me. So The Rookie is a Halo VR machinima that Frosty and Icy is making with this group and on his channel. It's shaped up to be a really ambitious project. Unfortunately, there's not much I could do to help him out because I don't have a VR headset, but overall, I'm really excited for it. I'm not sure what to really do to assist this kid with his projects, but it is a phenomenal project. The characters have such deep backstories that's so interesting. Frosty, I wish you the best with this production, and I hope things go a little more smoothly for you. How excited are you for The Perfect Soldiers? Well, I mean, I hope I am because it's my project. The Perfect Soldiers is shaping up to be a very exciting project. Probably the most exciting thing that I have probably ever written. Perfect Soldiers is a sequel to all that we have done so far. It is the Avengers of this universe. I just want to hit that home with everyone. This is the end of phase 1. This is going to encapsulate Lone Wolves, Reclaimer, everything that we have done so far. Everyone and everything is involved in this project that we have ever worked with and ever done with. Moving on to Frosty's next question. Felix versus Wilson, the rookie. My character, if you're check the server, I post his back. Yeah, you post his backstory. I saw it, read it. Wilson is interesting. Felix is interesting. I'm gonna go with Wilson, and that's because I'm just kind of a sucker for main characters. I mean, I want Wilson to be like the hero we all want him to be, but I want him to win, and that's kind of why I'm rooting for him. That's why. Halo 3 ODST, my favorite Halo game and the first one I played versus RVB 0. We all know the answer. Okay, honestly, anything will beat RVB 0. I can't think of a single video game, movie, project, anything that's worse than RVB 0. I just can't. Rookie versus Rookie, Wilson versus the Rookie. Well, the tricky thing is, Wilson, we know his story, while the Rookie, I mean, we know the Rookie's story to an extent, but the Rookie is more based on the player. Like, we know Romeo, we know Buck, but we don't really know the Rookie that much, if that makes sense. So we don't really know how tough the Rookie is, because he's kind of like Master Chief in the sense where, like, we, the gamers and the players, are that character. So with that alone, I think Wilson wins that fight, because we don't really... There's not really much to base on the Rookie. I don't know how much of a great character he is. Next, we got more from Frosty and Icy. Tucker RVB versus Reynolds. I want to go with Reynolds, but I feel like Tucker would win this fight by some weird coincidence. Like, honestly, I can see this fight going like Tucker is winning, then Reynolds starts winning, and Reynolds is like about to defeat Tucker, and then like somehow a boulder falls on Reynolds and kills him. Like that's kind of what I see happening. Like, I don't see Tucker actually like getting the kill, but I see some kind of weird coincidence where he ensured his own victory, if that makes sense. Red versus blue, like which team wins a fight? I think blue team wins. Blue team has a tank while red team has a warthog. I mean, Blue team just gonna win. Escrim versus Tartarus. I'm biased towards Tartarus, but yeah. Caboose versus Thanos with Infinity Stones. I mean, please, is that even a debate? Caboose wins always. Glitch and Caboose versus the universe. What are these questions, man? Glitch and Caboose will win. The universe does not stand a chance. Like, they do not. What if, about to start a whole nother series here, Wilson was a part of the Perfect Soldiers, same for RVB. That would be interesting. But this is kind of the problem that I've had with a lot of creators. Like, I know there's a lot of people, like Nate Spidey18 included, have always wanted to work with me and trying to like branch off their machinimas into my machinima series. And in reality, I don't really want to say no because there are a lot of possibilities open to these kind of things happening. But you'll see in our next project, the Perfect Soldiers, that there's a lot of universal things that we're trying to set up for the future. In terms of characters, having Wilson involved would be really cool. I'm not sure how that would influence his backstory or his plans for the future, but having Wilson would be interesting. He's another really tough character, and I feel like him and Hudson would be pretty close friends. I feel like that. I feel it. Best song for a trailer like RVB Blood Gulch Chronicles Episode 1 intro. Well, what do you mean by like best song? I mean, honestly, the Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue song, I mean, I forgot what it's called, but the one from Trocadero, that one's really good. I love that song. Gunmetal Green is a good one. I don't really know. I don't really have a song for RVB. I mean, my music taste is also very obscure compared to everyone else's, but I don't think my music taste meshes well with that. So, I'm not the best one to ask for music advice. Next, we got more from Frosty and Icy. Cortana versus Church. Okay, as much as I want Church to win, he's my favorite character, I kind of like the idea of Cortana winning. I think that would be kind of cool. That'd be an interesting fight. Also, Church just sucks against every female character. Like, he cannot beat a female character to save his life. So, I'm just gonna go with Cortana on this one. Opinion on Tucker getting his sword taken away by Phase and Zero. Okay, look. There's this whole backstory about Tucker being able to use the sword in, I think it's season 3. I don't want to delve too much into the Red versus Blue lore because a lot of it's flawed as it is, but it is kind of a stab in the back. It kind of is. I don't like it. How do I make an atom? I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist. How do I make a pipe bomb? No idea. Google it. Agent Donovan versus Tucker, season 13 Tucker specifically. I have yet to really have him show his strength, if that makes sense. He's very smart, he's capable of fending for himself, but I think Tucker would win. I know that. Love interest for Reynolds. I mean, have you watched Lone Wolves? That ending to Reynolds and Lisa Fields' last conversation. I mean, there's a spark there. There's something there. Frosty and Icy's back with some more. So your inspiration for Perfect Soldier is Marvel. So who is the Hulk? X-53, just like you guessed. Yeah, basically. Black Widow, Falcon. So, I mean, I could give you an answer on all these, but we're not being inspired by the characters so much as more of like the cinematic universe and the storytelling between each story, if that makes sense. Like, yes, you could argue that that character who has special abilities is like Hulk, or that other character has that other ability is like someone else. And I have said multiple times that Captain Reynolds is a lot like Captain America. Like, he just kind of symbolizes what the future of this group is going to be. But overall, we're not like really forcing like the MCU to the point where like we have a Falcon, we have a Thanos, we have a Doctor Strange. Like, we're not really trying to do that, if that makes sense. But just looking at how they interweave their stories, because you could have the best characters in the world, excuse my language, and have a completely shitty universe. So in our case, we don't want to make a movie about Chloe being exactly like Doctor Strange, but making the story the forefront as to why she became a household name. It's not because of her character, it's because of the story and the events that she goes through that makes her interesting. Anyway, Master Chief versus Anderson. That is a really good matchup. That is a really tough matchup. And I kind of want Anderson to win. And honestly, I think Anderson would win. I wish Sarge, the leader guy from Zero, because I refuse to call him anything else, versus Sarge. Oh yeah, that Sarge versus that, Red Sarge, you know, from the original Blood Ghost Chronicles, that one would win. Cortana versus Delta. Cortana. Delta. Favorite RVB AI, but you can't say Epsilon. Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh. What's the one that Elijah Wood played? I can't is it Alpha? All right, we gotta start flying through these. Frosty and Icy asks another question. RVB and Perfect Soldiers versus the Halo universe. Everyone, everything, even the dead. RVB and Perfect Soldiers universe would probably win, but the Halo universe also has the Grave Mind. So I think Halo universe is gonna win that fight. Nate Spidey18 is here to ask his first question. Yay! If you could be any character within the Halo Bungie Saga universe, who and why? Not Master Chief, not the Arbiter, and not Johnson. I would probably go with Buck. And I know that's a safe choice, and I don't know why, but like, I have always really liked Buck. I don't like him in Halo 5. I don't know what it is and why, but for whatever reason in Halo 5, I don't like him. But in Halo ODST, love him. In the little bit he's in Reach, love him. All of his backstories and books and everything he's in, it's all cool. Cool dude, amazing stories. So yeah, he's the one I pick. Next, we got one from my brother-in-law, Kieran-in-law. Can Rocco have a cookie? No. Rocco has had enough cookies in his life. Elmo deserves the almond peanut butter cookie that he wants. Elmo deserves it. Prince John Robin Hood or the Arbiter? I want Prince John to win. Prince John, forget everything I said before about Caboose and all that being, no. Prince John is by far the GOAT of any universe. He is peak. I'm totally kidding about all this, by the way. Arbiter would win. But Prince John, I'd like to see him win. Would you play Chutes and Ladders with Matt Stone, Pedro Pascal, and that Megan British lady? That is an interesting grouping of people. I mean, I would play Chutes and Ladders just because of Pedro Pascal alone. Like, Meghan Markle could be there, and that's totally fine. But the fact that Pedro Pascal is there, I would 1000% play. If you could interview any Star Wars actor from the films, who would it be? Ewan McGregor has always been my favorite character. Like, his version of Obi-Wan has always been my favorite growing up. But Ewan McGregor would just be fun. He seems like an interesting person too. Like, I know a lot about his personal life, so he's just really cool. What is a food you wouldn't put Old Bay on? So for those who don't know, I am from the state of Maryland in the United States, and this seasoning called Old Bay, we put on everything. Fish, chicken, burgers. I knew someone who put it on their cereal. So it's mostly used for crab legs and seafood, and people have ended up using it for a lot of other things. Myself included, I use it in my mac and cheese. So it's just a really nice seasoning. It's got like garlic powder, pepper, paprika. It's got all these other seasonings in there. But what would I not put it on? I feel like mint ice cream specifically would not go well. Or maybe even strawberry by far would be the absolute worst. It would not go well with those. What is your least favorite movie? Mine is Ready Player One. Yes, Kieran, I know Ready Player One is your least favorite one. And I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but again, a lot of people who read the books didn't like the movie. So that's fair point. For me, my least favorite movie is The Last Airbender from 2010, made by M. Night Shyamalan. It is by far the worst movie I've ever seen. Would you ever do a table read of one of your old scripts? That's actually a really good question. So on my old computer right here, this is a computer from like 2011, a bunch of old Machinima ideas, Lazy Bunch short ideas that I was gonna do with Greg Renko as a kid. There's a lot of great ideas on this computer, and that's partially why I haven't trashed the thing yet. Yes, I would love to do a table read of my old scripts, but more importantly, I would love to do a table read with the people who were written in it. For instance, my brothers, who are all going to do some more Lazy Bunch shorts. Some of my old classmates like Kai Huber, Andrew Hindle, all the guys who did Perfect Soldier Evolution, who are still helping with voiceovers now. Like, I would love to do like an old high school video script with them and just see how much we've progressed as writers and as actors. It's just fun to look back on those things. But yes, I would absolutely love to do an old table read at some point. What is your opinion on the Lego board games? The ones with the Lego dice piece? Oh, I remember those. Those were really cool. But I feel like they only did it for maybe what, like 3 to 4 years, and then they just like gave up on it. Like, they gave up too fast on it. They could have done some more cool things, and would have gotten really interesting. Halo Star Wars inspired Machinima. So I know I've talked about this a lot, but Reclaimer, our 2021 Machinima series, was heavily influenced by Star Wars Rebels, the anime series made by Disney. Star Wars has always been our biggest inspiration, whether it be like space battles or character motivations, things like that. I would love to go a step further and more towards Star Wars and just try to like full on be inspired by it, but there's always so many limitations Halo could do, and I think for us, it makes more sense for us to be more inspired by Halo than by Star Wars. Master Chief versus Glitch. Halo versus Red Dead. Halo is the Star Wars, and Red Dead is like, I don't know, like the Inception, like, or like a Martin Scorsese film. Like, it's one of those where it's like movies. Like, Halo is like the popcorn, it's fun, everyone could play it, everyone could enjoy it, it's always a great time. But Red Dead is like a movie where it's like, this is an Oscar winner, this is gonna get awards, this is like, if you want to play the best of the best, it's this. I hope that metaphor made sense, because that's my opinion on it. Arthur Morgan versus Reynolds. I don't know who Arthur Morgan is, and maybe I'm just dumb, but Reynolds, I guess. Oh wait, duh. Arthur Morgan. Duh. What am I thinking? This whole post is Red Dead based. Who's your favorite Halo character? I'll give you a hint for mine. We're it's so oh no, grammar. We're it's so easy. That's you gotta remove the apostrophe out of that thing. For me, now I know I said Buck from ODST, but I think I'm gonna go with George as my favorite character in overall like Halo. Would I be him like what Nate Spidey asked? Probably not. I mean, I don't know much about his backstory, but Buck is cool, but George is probably my favorite. Who's your favorite ODST character? I'll give you mine. Oh, well, Buck, like I said. How easy would it be to eliminate Halo 5? I wish it were easier. I really do. Like, if you played Halos 1 through 4 and then went to Infinite, you're not missing much. Okay, you already asked about the Thanos and Infinity Stones part, but you didn't ask about the whole entire universe behind him. Caboose would still win. Tex versus the state of Texas. God, the state of Texas is just, it's a lawless land, and it's just, Texas would probably win just because of how insane and crazy the people there are. I'm sorry if you're from Texas, but you live in a crazy state. Did you ever own a Nintendo 64? Actually, no one in our household ever owned a Nintendo 64. In fact, I only ever played the N64 with my best friend, Steven. I got all my Nintendo knowledge through him, through that console. And, I played it a lot. Again, I never actually owned one, but I played it probably almost every other weekend. It played a huge part of who I am and how I grew up. And would you want an action figure, a plush, a U2s, or a Funko Pop based on you or your characters? Look at the J.J. Abrams Funko Pop. That is me. I don't need a Funko Pop personalized for myself. I just need J.J. Abrams' Funko Pop. As for the characters I've made, yes, I would absolutely love a Funko Pop action figure. Just anything and everything based on these characters, I would love merchandising. Merchandising. I would love to have the merchandise of these characters, I tell you what. Frosty Ice is back with a bunch of more questions. How excited are you for Perfect Soldiers and the Rookie? Very excited indeed. How long till someone makes a Reynolds body pillow for you? Oh no, oh God, the question. Carolina versus Arabella Mason. Carolina is really tough, but if I had picked her over my wife's character, I'll get in trouble. So Arabella Mason all the way. Master Chief versus Carolina. Master Chief. Why? It's Master Chief. I mean, there's only one person who could defeat him, and that's Caboose. And then there was that other one. Will we get our Lego review on the Lego Star Wars Death Star? Ooh, maybe one day. If they re-release the set, then maybe yes. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Luke Skywalker versus the Arbiter. I think the Arbiter's gonna win. Luke Skywalker. Everyone loves Luke Skywalker, but I think he's kind of a wuss. Darth Vader versus the Reds and the Blues. I think the Reds and the Blues will win just because Darth Vader, I mean, he's tough, but he's tough. He's not that good against a lot of characters. Darth Vader versus all the Perfect Soldiers universe. Perfect Soldiers universe would win. Anakin Skywalker versus Darth Vader. I mean, they're the same character, but if we're talking like Clone Wars Anakin versus like Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, I think Anakin would win. Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Tucker. Obi-Wan win. Boba Fett versus Mandalorian. Mandalorian will win. I Boba Fett a Mandalorian on my personal favorite Star Wars characters. What are yours? My personal favorite Star Wars characters are Obi-Wan, Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, all the prequel characters. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi is my all-time favorite Star Wars character. And like I said, Ian McGregor is like my favorite actor. So yeah, he's my favorite. Opinion on nuclear bombs. I don't like the idea of nuclear bombs. I think they're terrifying, and the world was a much better place before they came along. So, Halo hot takes. I don't really have that many Halo hot takes. I mean, you guys know Halo 5 to me is trash. Star Wars hot takes. Okay. I love all Star Wars movies, including Solo, including all the sequels. Like, I love all Star Wars things. Yeah, I mean, I get some of your frustrations with Star Wars movies and some of the writing in the prequels and like the character things written in the sequels. I see those things. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's just a movie, and it may have been written for people like me, but it doesn't have to be like my dream, like best thing I have ever seen or heard movie. Like, it just, for me, Star Wars is fun, and like, if that's the way J.J. Abrams wanted to take it, that's the way he wanted to take it. You know, it's like, I just enjoy it. You know, I'm here for all of Star Wars. And there are too many people who are like, yeah, I hate the prequels. I hate the sequels. All that was good was some parts of Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One. That's all that was good. But at the same time, they're kids' movies. They're supposed to be fun. And like, if something like does something against Luke Skywalker's character that you thought was not motivated in the original trilogy, fine, that's your opinion. But like, you don't need to belittle and hate other people's opinions on that justification. Like, I enjoy Last Jedi, and I think it has aged better, and I think it's going to continue to age better over time. That's just my opinion. You can hate it all you want. I can love it all I want, but that's the point of Star Wars, you know? A whole channel of hot takes. I mean, I feel like there are YouTube channels like that, and I'm not a person to really, like, go about that. Like, I'm not that nerdy who knows about anime and everything. Like, I can't give an opinion on, like, Pokemon, you know? Like, I can't get a hot take on that. Aquifer Unknown is back with another question. Opinion on Baker Plus. It highlights a bunch of machinimas, either Minecraft, GTA 5. There's some Halo stuff on there, but it's a lot of different machinimas from around the globe. And we personally have Reclaimer on there, which is kind of cool, but personally, it has not helped my channel in any way, shape, or form. They did not advertise at all anything. I've given them production stuff like images, posters, and stuff like that to use. They chose not to even post anything Reclaimer based on their Discord servers. It's like me making a project for Disney Plus and Disney Plus not advertising it anywhere, like not putting it on the home screen, not informing anyone that this thing exists. It's just, it's there. And for anyone who does stumble upon it, they will think, oh, Disney Plus made this content, not Lazy Bunch. So that's kind of my opinion on it. I like the concept. I wish there was a little bit more creator-driven focused, like, hey, check out more from Lazy Bunch. Here's a poster. Check out more projects from this so-and-so. Like, I wish it was a little bit more creator-driven, but that's my opinion on Baker Plus. Again, it is a great service. It is a newer service highlighting some machinimas that I've never heard of, so I have reached out. I have found people because of Baker Plus, but looking at the analytics for my channel, it has not helped me in any way, shape, or form. We've probably maybe gotten a total of 10 views from Baker Plus over the course of a year and a half. So I'm just telling it like it is. I apologize if that upsets some people. I'm sure that probably upsets the creator Baker Plus Felix, who is maybe watching this, maybe not. I don't know if he watches my content. He's reached out to me a couple times. Great guy. I don't know him very well, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion of Baker Plus. You know, if you have a machinima, you want it to get some extra views, you want it to reach out to some different audiences, go for it. If you want to reach out people that you don't think you'll be able to reach out to, like people in Europe, people in other countries, then fine, Baker Plus is a good option for you. But I'm just telling you what I know from what I have seen from my personal analytics. And like I said, when Reclaimer went on there, there was literally nothing showcasing that Reclaimer went on there. And we did some things on our channel, on YouTube and on our Discord, kind of advertising Baker Plus, saying that, hey, Reclaimer's on Baker Plus, you know, check out Baker Plus, check out other stuff on Baker Plus. Like, we did some things for them and thought we would get some reciprocation, but didn't. So it's one of those things where, like, again, that's just my opinion. That's just my personal experience with Baker Plus. Again, if you want to reach out different audiences, go for it. Baker Plus is a great place to reach more audiences. Will it help you, though? I don't know for certain. And that maybe depends on project to project, and if you have a certain contract with Felix and the people at Baker Plus. But that is a question. If you have more questions about that, please reach out to me personally. I can tell you more, or if you just need advice, DM me. I'm here for you and for everyone. Okay, next, Frosty and Icy. Favorite 3 seasons of RVB and why? Mine being seasons 11 through 13. That's kind of a hot take in my opinion, but it had a perfect amount of comedy and action. Tucker is one of my favorite characters because of comedy, but his serious side was perfect. Those are some good seasons as well, but my personal favorite are seasons 6, 7, and 8, the Recollection series. Those were coming out literally right after the time Halo 3 came out, and Halo 3 was the game that got me into the Xbox 360. For me, in my mind, Season 8, I was graduating high school at the time. You know, it's a great close. You know, it's a great close to my highlight, you know, my high school time, and yeah, those are the days I would never forget those days. Those are some of my happiest days. Halo grunts, arguably the most iconic thing in Halo. What was your funniest experience with one? And try to do a grunt voice. Oh my gosh. What was that grunt at the end of the last mission in Halo 3? I can't remember what he was talking about, but he was talking about all these great things with Master Chief and like watching the world end. It is so great. But yeah, that grunt at the end of Halo 3 and the last mission Halo, that one is kind of like behind the rock. I mean, that's just one of those Easter eggs you find and you're like, that's just fun. I mean, I've heard lots of funny things like, you killed my best friend! Like, I've heard some funny things like that from the grunts. I don't know, just conversational stuff. I mean, you can find all these weird audio bites on YouTube, but those are some of my funniest ones. Some of my favorite ones. Acapfrono is back with another question. If you had to delete one of your channels, which would it be and why that one? Ooh, Lazy Bunch, Brickster Dan, and 1 Minute Disney. Out of all those, I mean, Brickster Dan, because it's the freshest one, might have to go first. But Lego, like, all my entire life, Lego and Disney were my top things. And, like, Halo got into my life around high school. So, like, arguably, the Lazy Bunch channel would have to go. But Lazy Bunch channel also is the one with the most fans and subscribers. So, I mean, even if I deleted every channel, Lazy Bunch would still exist. Like, if I had to leave and walk out one day, I would leave the Lazy Bunch channel open. Like, in fact, I left YouTube in 2013, but came back for Lazy Bunch. And here I am still, you know, a couple years later. So, but yeah, Brickster Dan would probably be the one that has to go because it's the freshest one. But yeah, it's a subject that I love, though. Nate Spidey18 is back with another question. Nate Spidey18! Any potential crossovers with another project from another creator? Like I said earlier, I mean, I know we've talked about this a lot, but it depends. It depends. And I want it to happen. The whole purpose of the Perfect Soldiers universe is to create a universe where other people can write stories and contribute to this universe. But the idea is that I'm trying to establish this universe and try to set like the rules and guidelines of what we can and can't do in this universe. And then the plan moving forward from that is give Javelin Reclaimer, have him write Reclaimer 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, have him write those. Have Cannonbolt write his own thing, have so-and-so write their own project, have maybe you write your own project. So like, the idea is that we're trying to establish this universe so that way when someone else comes in to direct a feature or to write a story, they know what to write and what they can't write. If someone has another project that somehow can work in this universe, then great. We could talk more about that. But like, that's kind of the idea. And I hope that helps answer your question a little bit. We're only halfway there? Okay, I'm gonna speed this up a lot more now. NateSpud18 asks, if you had to form a group of creators to make a project, who would you bring? Minimum of 5. I want to answer this question, but I am not going to do it in this public video. If you want to ask me personally, I will answer it there. Only reason is because I don't want to show favoritism towards some creators. So, I would answer this question personally. If you want to ask me in the DM, I will answer it. But, sorry, this is one of those, I don't really want to start anything right here. Another game you would choose to make a story other than Halo, which game would it be? I talked about doing Star Wars Battlefront. That would be kind of cool. I've talked about doing The Sims, and I even wanted to do during COVID, I wanted to do an Animal Crossing machinima. It was going to be like The Office, or like Parks and Rec, but it was going to be like that kind of like, you know, dry humor, kind of, you know, mockumentary style machinima about all these animals living on this island who can't get along with each other. And it was going to be a lot of fun. I actually ended up writing the first 2 episodes, and a lot of fun conversations came from it. And Kieran and Law actually had a lot of fun scenes, a lot of fun dialogue in that, and I think he would have really loved to have voiced in that. But yeah, Animal Crossing is kind of not really peaking anymore, and at some point I lost motivation to play the game. In fact, I haven't played it probably about a year now. So yeah, I mean, oh yeah, this next question from Nate Spidey18, I've been thinking about it for a very long time. Expand, cancel a sequel, Perfect Soldier, Lone Wolves, or Reclaimer. This is what I've thought about a lot, but I have an answer, and it may surprise some people. I'm gonna work backwards. So sequel, Lone Wolves. I mean, I think it's fair to say we all want more sequels to Lone Wolves. Expand, Reclaimer. I love Reclaimer to death, and I love the story for Reclaimer. I wish we could expand on it a little bit more, and that's kind of what I'm left with. Like Reclaimer, I think we've done the coolest stuff for it, but I wish we did more of it. I wish there was more to tell. And that's kind of what we're jumping off with the next project with the Perfect Soldiers. We're branching off after Reclaimer. So there's still a lot of story to tell. And I guess by process of elimination, Perfect Soldier will have to be canceled. We all know that I don't really care that much for Evolution. And looking back, I love that machinima. I love what we told. I love what we did with it. But if I could live without one machinima in our universe, evolution's probably it. Those two will just have to be canceled. It's just by process of elimination. It'll have to be canceled. Lastly, if you can activate the Halo ring and kill off one species, who would you kill off? Can't say Forerunner or Flood. I would kill off humans. The human beings in general, we have caused enough destruction in the universe. Even if we right now are not in the universe, we have a tendency to just blow things up. And I use that as a joke multiple times, but at the same time, it's real. Like, yeah, humans are our own worst destruction. And there's not a whole lot of faith in humanity lately. So I'll leave you all with that. Frosty and Icy is back. Halo Infinite Bandit or Halo Reach's DMR, the weapons that are hit right now, which is better. The Bandit rifle is pretty cool. I do like using it, but the DMR, Halo Reach's DMR is just, it's classic. I mean, it's just the perfect amount of OP where it's not too OP, but at the same time, it like, if you miss one spot on a Spartan, like, you didn't kill them. And it's like, how did that happen? But you know what I mean? It's like, it's overpowered, but not to the point where you're like using that weapon only. You know what I mean? A Halo 3 ODST VR machinima for my next project? That would be really cool. Honestly, if you could walk around the streets of Mombasa with the VR, I think that would be really cool. You could do some really cool, maybe even a horror type story with that. You know, like you got some of those horror games where all you're holding is a lantern. Like, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty chill. Where are machinima tips? I mean, look, I made a lot of Halo machinima tips back in the day. It was at a point where I feel like we're watching me and like thinking like I was, you know, a little bit too like stroking my own ego too much. Like, who am I to give Halo machinima? You know what I mean? Like, I am not like the lord of machinimas or Halo machinimas. Like, I don't have the answers to everything, but you know, I wanted to make it with the original intent of like trying to help some people who are newer, who don't really know how to make a machinima. You know, that was my original intention. And I didn't want people to view me as like too pretentious or anything like that either. You know, I sometimes can be, I know, and sometimes I can be a little like too much. Yeah, I stopped it for a little while because I didn't want that to become my image. Who am I to give out these tips? And that's kind of like where I stood with that. You know, like, I don't have the most subscribers in the machinima community. I don't have the most views. I don't make the most money. You know, like, if Rooster Teeth made a Halo machinima tips video, that's different. But if I made it, like, who am I to give those tips out? And if people want tips on certain things, that's fine. I'll give you tips. I'll help you out. I don't know. Someone shared a tip video at one point, and it kind of reached certain people who kind of asked me those questions. Like, who are you to tell people these tips? And, I mean, they made some good points. So, yeah, I just, yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Let's move on to the next one. Favorite machinima character of all time, excluding RVB and any machinima you've created. I think I talked about this before, but Glitch from Recruits is just, he's just comic gold. And he's just so innocent and lovable. Like, Lost Hope of Films made a great character. And a lot of great characters from Recruits. But Glitch, he's my favorite. Next from Frosty and Icy, when will we be getting a walkthrough of you playing Halo 3? I'm actually surprised someone actually wants that. I mean, I haven't done a Let's Play in a while, but like I did one for Halo Reach, like how much I suck at Halo Reach. The problem is I'm actually really good at Halo 3. I feel like it's gonna get to the point where I'm like, it's not interesting to watch because with the Halo Reach one, Dan will die every 5 seconds and some of it's self-inflicted. I think what would make it more interesting is if I made a walkthrough Halo 3 video with like someone who is really important to me, like Greg Renko or someone in the Halo Machinima community. Like if I did it with someone, that might be better than just me doing it myself. If you were in Master Chief's shoes, what would you have done differently? I don't know if I would have done anything differently, but maybe in Halo 5, I would have actually have done better things. Master Chief is whoever you are, if that makes sense. All the decisions, everything you make are based around Master Chief. And so that's kind of a tricky one. I don't really have an opinion on what would have done differently because him as a character is kind of us. And what would in the story, I mean, he's so cool and everything. I don't know what I would have done differently. I probably would have wussed out if I were honest. Next, Frosty and Icy asks, if you could be a Spartan and leave your life behind to save the universe, would you? Why or why not? Me personally, I would. Depression warning, because I have nothing left to lose. Oh, dude, you got a lot to live for. You got a lot to stay on Earth for and not go to Planet Reach. If I could be a Spartan and leave my life behind and save the universe, I would not. if the universe was in peril, and I mean, I know this sounds that might come off as like a coward, but the universe was in peril, I wouldn't go save it. I would spend the last few moments with my wife. Aww. Yeah, I know, that's sweet and loving and everything. But yeah, my wife and I are best friends. I would never leave her side. If she were to join me and be a Spartan as well, then sure. If we could do it together, then yeah, we'll save the universe together. Her anxiety might go a little too high, so she might not want to do that. But yeah, I would spend the last few moments with her. I want to be a hero. How long on average does it take for you to edit a machinima, and how long would it take for the rookie? Answer in English is hard sometimes, okay guys? I'm sorry. But it depends. For an episode of like Lone Wolves or Reclaimer, maybe if I had all the assets, like everything, I would probably get a draft done maybe in a day or so. The thing is for me, like I will film a scene and then like, as you know, I film everything out of order and edit everything out of order. So by the time the project is towards its final stages, like I've already edited maybe the first half and then the last 15 minutes, but the middle I'm just now plugging in, and that may take a day or so, and then I'm gonna tweak it. It really depends. Lone Wolves Extraction took about maybe like the month of May, because I had everything filmed by that point, but I was still editing and tweaking things. I mean, I was also waiting on music, waiting on other assets, getting some graphics in and things like that. So, I mean, it depends. Like, if I have everything I need for an edit, like all the music, all the sound effects, all the video, all this and that, all right now in a folder and edit that, it won't take me long. It will not take me long at all. So, for the rookie, I mean, I'm not sure because it's all VR and it's all from the perspective of one person. So that may just take honestly like 10 minutes for me, because if you're doing it all like in one take or two takes, a couple shots, like that's easy. But for a video like this takes a couple days for me. Next, we got a question from Aquifer Unknown asking, who wins, Danman versus Bunner? Ooh, that's a really good question. It depends on when you're asking, because if you're asking me like in 2022 during the Lone Wolf season, Bunner would be winning because Halo Infinite sucked back then. But now, after season 3, Halo Infinite is looking really good, so I think now Danman would win, or as we like to call him, Catman. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the lighting has changed a little bit because this video has taken so long. I had to take a pause for a little while, walk away from my desk, and come back and film the rest of it. So that tells you how many questions I have for this video. There's a lot more than usual. Next, we're back with Frosty and Icy. So if you had a favorite Disney character, would you put it in Star Wars and make it a Sith, clone, Jedi, or Stormtrooper? So my personal favorite Disney character is the Genie. As you can see right there, I have a lot of Genie little guys. The Genie and Robert Williams are just my absolute favorites. So if I were to take the Genie and put him into Star Wars, he would probably be a Jedi. I don't know what other classification he would be. I mean, maybe someone who just kind of stays away from the war in general because, you know, peacekeeping and everything, but he would probably be a Jedi. That's probably the route he'd go. Next, he asks, if you could play Halo 3 for the first time again with your friends, would you and why? And tell us at least 3 memories with your friends on Halo. So if I were able to play Halo 3 again for the first time with my friends, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would absolutely do it. Like I said earlier, Halo 3 was peak for me. It meant so much to me and my brothers growing up. Greg was always really big into video games, but Halo 3 just, it was, you know, and I was big into games, but not as big as him. But with Halo 3, we bonded so much over that game, and to relive those memories with him, I mean, that would just be absolutely incredible. That would be amazing. Some of my favorite memories. Okay, so one memory is me and Scott. It's like 3 a.m., mind you. We're trying to play through all of Halo 3 campaign, Legendary, and we get to the Covenant mission. We got the 2 Scarabs. And we all know the easiest way to take down the Scarabs is by taking the flying vehicles. I'm totally drawing a blank on what those Halo 3 vehicles are. So Scott and I challenged ourselves to beat that mission, doing something we've never done before, just with a Warthog. We've done it with Scorpions, we've done it with the flying vehicles, but we've never done it with the Warthog. So we wanted to do it with solely a Warthog and on foot. And there are multiple points where we're trying to take down the legs of these Scarabs, and we're just failing. We're getting flipped over, we're rolling everywhere. And at some point, I don't know how, I lose the Warthog, and one of the Marines somehow gets the Warthog from us and drives off. So we're chasing down the Warthog, we're trying to get to it, and as we're coming up a hill by a Scarab, you know, we got all the legs crashing around us. As we're approaching the hill where the Warthog drove over, I'm like screaming like, where's the Warthog? Why did it leave us? Where are the Marines going? And as we're approaching this hill, out of nowhere, almost like a moment for red versus blue, the Warthog just flies over us, over our heads, lands behind us, and the Marine, instead of shooting the leg of the Scarab that just crashed next to us, shot both me and Scott. One shot KO, boom, we're dead. That is probably my favorite memory of Halo 3 in general. Two more of my favorite memories are of playing Halo 3 for the first time with my brother Greg, opening up Forge and trying to create any wild map we can. We were really big into Mario Kart at one point, and we discovered the modes where you could race in Halo 3 and some of those modded maps where you could have like 100 items or whatever. We downloaded so many cool maps from other players and other gamers through file shares and stuff. So, but yeah, Forge was a big one for us, and I remember there were a couple videos that we even attempted to recreate scenes from Red vs. Blue. So there are a lot of like little edits and things on my old computer here where Greg and I we're just trying to recreate scenes where we're doing the voiceovers instead, and all those scenes were just we recorded it via like a phone on a tripod because we didn't have a capture card at the time. So we did some really cool things, funny, silly, stupid things, but those are the memories I have. Halo 3, it really shaped who we are today. I don't think me or Greg, Scott, and Tyler, I don't think any of us would be interested in the things we're interested in if it weren't for Halo 3 and the memories we had together. That got a lot deeper than I thought. I'm gonna move on to the next few questions because we have to finish this up. I'm doing really good. We're on a roll. We only have 8 more left, so let's fly through these. If you could make your favorite pop figure a Spartan, would you? And try to make it an armor and Halo game of your choice. If I could make it a Spartan, I mean, I would. Funko Pop. I mean, we talked about earlier with Funko Pops for characters and things like that. But in this case, if we could make a Funko Pop of all the Perfect Soldiers characters, that would be really awesome. That would be really cool. But yeah, the Halo 3 Scout armor, that's probably what I would go with if I had to choose my own personal Spartan. What would it be like if a Spartan went to Narnia, then to the Death Star, then dig up Walt Disney, who was buried under Disneyland, to make Mr. Disney Master Chief? I don't even know how to respond to this question. What would it be like if a Spartan went to Narnia? Well, if it went to Narnia, it would be pretty cool. It'd be essentially like a Halo ring, because Narnia's just a mythical world with crazy beasts and beings. I mean, that's kind of what Halo is. I mean, if you think about the overall story, then to the Death Star to dig up Walt Disney. I don't know why Walt Disney would be on the Death Star. That's just, was Walt like a Sith Lord? Like, I need to know about Walt's backstory now. Now, this is an interesting question. I honestly don't know how to answer this. We got our first question from Asteroid. I love you, man. Thank you for asking this question. Have you seen Rooster Teeth's other shows like Ruby or Camp Camp? If so, what are your thoughts on them? Also, congrats at 6K. Thank you for the congrats. I appreciate that. Camp Camp, I watched a couple episodes of. I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, I've seen so many like animated type camping shows throughout my life. Camp Laszlo was one that I really liked. I get some of the humor, and it is a little bit more adult humor like South Park, but I don't know. It wasn't enough for me. I watched like 10 episodes and I just couldn't get into it. Ruby, I mean, obviously Ruby is like one of their GOAT shows now. Although it was a little bit more maybe like 5 years ago, but lately it just hasn't really been that good. Aquifer knows back with another question. I mean, they only pin one and they just do... Oh, this is a comment to one of my comments, so ignore that first part. Opinion on being the first one killed in CSI Among Us Hide and Seek. I'm gonna be honest with you, when Sandinator made that video, like, I read the script, I knew I was the first one, and most of the time will be self-inflicted wounds or just purely on accident. But yeah, I love the fact that I was the first one killed, because that is what would happen in real life. I would not be the second one killed, the third one, or even the second to last. I would be the first one killed. My question would probably get lost in the sea of questions. Don't worry, it did not. But if you got to play/voice any video game character in a film/TV show, who would it be? I would love to voice Link, Snake, Ocelot. I'm probably pronouncing that really wrong, I'm sorry. Shadow, or Silver the Hedgehog. Ooh, those would be good choices. When I was a kid, I had a red baseball cap that I loved wearing everywhere. I always saw myself as one of the Mario Brothers, and I would absolutely love, let's go. I don't know, I would just absolutely love to play as one of those characters. Nintendo characters specifically, like I would love, obviously I would love to be in a Star Wars game, and I would love to just voice anyone or anything. Just doing anything Star Wars sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, that's something I would love to do, and yeah, I don't know, something to think about. Good old Saudi is here with this first question of the video. Do you like horror, i.e. games, movies, etc.? And if so, what are your favorite pieces of horror? If you count Left 4 Dead as a horror game, yes, I love the Left 4 Dead series. Amnesia is a really good horror game. In terms of movies, there's a movie called The Descent that came out, I think, in like 2005. It's a really interesting movie because it's not so much like in-your-face horror over the top. The Saw movies 1, 2, and 3 I absolutely love. Those are my favorite horror movies. I had to pick some. Insidious, the first like 2 Insidious films, I actually really liked. Yeah, those are super basic choices, but those are my main ones, and I'm sticking with them. Next, we got one for Frosty and Icy asking Mason from The Rookie versus Tucker from RVB. I mean, Mason's got an interesting backstory and everything. I don't know how this character is going to develop. There's a lot of characters they have great backstories for, but I'm not sure where they're going in the storyline in the future. So I'm just going to go with Tucker on this one. This is a safe choice. But Mason is a really cool character. And last but certainly not least, from Frosty and Icy, we got his last question. Best hero team and villain team, and who wins? You pick characters from anything. The best hero team I would pick are probably the prequel era Jedi. Like the ones from the Jedi Council, like Mace Windu, Kiandi Mundi, Plo Koon, like all those guys. Maybe I have them fight every Marvel supervillain, because the villains in Marvel, there's a lot of really good ones. You got Killmonger, Thanos, Hela, Taskmaster. There's a lot of them. We could go all day about this. But yeah, I think the villains from Marvel are really good. So if you had all the Marvel villains team up against the prequel era Jedi, I think that would be an interesting fight, and that's a tough one. I mean, we got to consider the fact that if Thanos has the Infinity Stones or not. If he has the stones, he'd probably win. If he doesn't have the stones, they'd put up a pretty good fight against the Jedi. In fact, we might lose a lot of Jedi in that fight, but I think the Jedi might win that. So that's going to wrap it up, this very long video. It had to be filmed in 2 parts because it was so long, but I am glad I finally got through all of these. This is probably the longest one I'm making. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you slap that subscribe button, and like always, please like this video. Please comment below any questions you have for me. Comment in our Discord server. Anything and everything I'll answer. And please keep sharing our content. I know we just reached 6,200 subscribers, but I've noticed our view count is starting to go a little down. So please, if you could continue sharing, continue liking, helping us with the YouTube algorithm, I would greatly, greatly appreciate your support. That's all for now. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time.
Oh, I got it. It's like, bow, bow. And he's like, no, no. And I'm like, yeah, bow, bow. Pew, pew, pew. Whoa. I'm good. Oh, I got it. It's like, bow, bow. And he's like, no, no. And I'm like, yeah, bow, bow. Pew, pew, pew. Whoa. I'm good.